Hey guys, welcome to this video. So we are going to use Inkscape to create the game art assets for this game, and we're going to also learn about the basic rules that we're going to use that you can use to build any game art asset that you want. Now you can get Inkscape by going to inkscape.org or just go to Google and search for download Inkscape and you will be good to go. So once you have done that, this is what Inkscape looks like. This is the basic interface. I'm going to give you instructions about how you can work here and give you some basic things about how you can navigate through the interface. So you can see on the left side you have all the elements that you can use. Okay, the first element is the selection tool. So using this selection tool you can select anything that's on the scene. And it is also called transform objects. That means we can use it to move objects, rotate objects, and scale them up and down. We can do all of them by using this transform object. So let us take an example. Let me create this. Let me select this rectangle. Create a rectangle right here. Now we can see that we cannot move it by using this rectangle tool. So delete that. So to move it, we need to select this selection tool. And now if I select this, you can see now we have selected this one. So now we can move it to any position we want. Let's say I want to resize this. Now to resize this, I can simply select any of these arrows. Just click on any of these arrows and I can resize it in that direction. So whatever arrow you pick, you can resize your image in that direction. Okay, so you can move it, you can scale it. Now let us learn how you can rotate it to any angle you want. To rotate it to any angle, you need to simply click one more time over it. So if you click one more time over it, you can see that now it has these rotation things. So these things will help us to rotate this. So using these rotation handles, we can rotate it. So let's try it. As you can see now, if I rotate it, it rotates to any angle I want. And in the center, you can see we have this crosshair like thing. This is called the pivot point. That means our rectangle will rotate around this point. So that is why you can see if I rotate it, it is getting rotated around this point. If I rotate it, it rotates around this point. Now if I want to rotate it around another point, then we just need to move the pivot to that point. Let's say we want to move our rectangle by using this, move our rectangle from this corner. So I can select it one more time, and I can drag this pivot point right here. And as you can see, if I drag the pivot point right here, now if I rotate it, you can see that now it rotates centering this. So now the pivot point is at this point. We can again move it to the center so that we can rotate it from the center. Now one more thing I want to show you is that if you press the control button while doing this, just press the control button, and now if I rotate it, you can see that I cannot rotate it in all angles, but it gives me rotating in certain angles. So I can rotate it in certain angles only when I press the control button. Okay, and while selecting this, if you select these things, these middle arrows, this will distort your shape. As you can see now, it is just distorting your shape. It is not rotating it, but it's just making this shape distortion, making distortion and just distorting this shape, as you can see here. So this is all about this selection transform tool. Now we have the second tool, which is known as edit paths by nodes tool. This node tool is probably one of the most important things. We can use this tool to edit the paths and nodes. So currently we have this rectangle, which is a game object. Not a game object, it is an object. Now we cannot just make it to any shape we want right now. If we want to make it to any shape we want, then we need to convert this object to a path. So to convert an object to a path, we just select this path option and click on Object to Path. And now this object has been converted to a path. So now if I click on this Edit Paths by Nodes tool, now I will be able to edit the paths because we have already converted it to a path. Now we can see that we have these 4 nodes. And using the 4 nodes, we can just move it and position it anywhere, and we can just distort the shape. And what we can do more is that if I just click on this line right here and clicking it, if I move up, as you can see, we can automatically move our lines up and down by using this using this Edit Paths tool. So I can move it any position I want. Now you can see when we move these things, we have these 2 handles. These 2 handles helps us to drag and position our object correctly. So as you can see, if I drag it, it positions right here, and that is how it works. I can also select this, and I can also modify this edge as well. Now the next thing we need to do is, as you can see, we have these nodes, and these nodes are like corners. That means, and these nodes, we have got a corner-like thing. So let's say we don't want a corner, we want a smooth curve that we can use to build something. So to make this corner a smooth curve, we can just simply go ahead and select this make selected nodes smooth option. So if I select this, now this node will become smooth, and now we'll be able to do anything we want with this. And if I want to make it at an angle, I can select it, click on make it an angle. Now you can see it's an angle and we don't have any handle to it. When we have a handle, that means this node is smooth, and if we don't have a handle, that means it's an angle and we cannot use it to do anything by the handle. So let us make it smooth again by clicking on make selected node smooth. Okay, so this time it goes off because we had another shape here and now it is another shape. So let's position right here and change the angle. So I think this is that. So you can use this Edit Paths tool to do simply anything. Then we have this rectangle tool, and I have already told you about the rectangle tool. Let us delete this. So this rectangle tool can be used to create anything, rectangle or square. And if we just click on this square right here on the edge, on the corner, if I just select this, and if I just drag it, you can see I can just change the shape of the rectangle. And if I click on this circle thing, and if I drag it, now you can see that it is becoming from a rectangle to a circle. So by using this circle, I can change how much we want the curves on the edges or in the corners, how much curve we want in the corners. So by dragging it, we can just change the curves in the corners like this. Okay, so here's our rectangle tool, and the next important tool is the circle tool. And you can see that I can create a circle by just dragging it. And if I press the Control button on my keyboard, then I will be able to make a circle in some few shapes. And if I just press the Shift and Control, both of these keys together, then I will be able to change the shape of our circle, but keeping it at the center, at the same center. So its center is the same, it is just increasing and decreasing. Okay. Now here you can see we have some options of this segment and this arc. we can use this segment and this arc to make the circle not a full circle. So let's say I can select this thing. Oops, not this. I can select this thing, and if I drag it, I can just change it. And if I click on this switch to segment, then I can use this to create a segment. So I can just change it to anything I want by just dragging it. Let's move it to the center and place it the position that we had before. So this is how we can use the circle tool to do anything we want. We can also make it go round by clicking one more time and then clicking and dragging it. And we can also change the pivot point to any position we want to make it rotate from that point. And the next important thing is we have this pencil that we can use to build anything we want. I don't really use this pencil, but I'm just telling you that we have this pencil and we can use this to draw freehand anything. Okay. Then we have this Bezier tool, which is very important. This Bezier tool helps us to create lines between two points. So using this Bezier tool, we first click on any point. Let's say I click on this point. Then as you can see, it automatically creates a line for us. And if I click on this point right now it creates a point, a node at that point, and now I can increment it again. So now I can position it right here, and from there I can also position it right here, and from there if I just come to the initial position, you will see that now we cannot change anything. So this gradient tool, not the gradient tool, yes, not the gradient tool, but using this Bezier tool, we can build any shape we want with so much of ease. Okay. So another thing that we need, which is very important, is this text tool. We can just place it anywhere and write whatever we want. So as you can see, I have typed this, and after typing this, I can select the text tool again, and from here I can select any font that I want to show with this text. We can also change its size to anything we want. We can make it bold or simple. We can position it any position we want. And as you can see here, we have this x to the power y thing and this y to the power x thing, which means we can create this superscript and subscripts. Like say we want to create a square. So to create a square, we need to create this superscript, and to create something like a2 or a3, then we need to create this toggle script. So let's try a square. So I am going to select this text tool again, and if I click on this x to the power y, you will see that the whole thing becomes small like this. So it applies this thing to whole thing. So what we need to do is we need to first of all select this. We need to first of all create this text and make it a. Then I need to create another text and make it 2. Position it right here and select the text tool again. Otherwise we cannot add any effects of the text. So select text tool. Now as you can see, if I click on this x to the power y, it will make it smaller so that we can use it as our square values or superscript thing. So now as you can see, we can create a square. In the same way, if we select this text tool and if we create this x below y, then you can see that it has been used as a subscript at the bottom, like a2, a3, n4 and all that stuff. We can do that. So these are pretty much the most important things in the Inkscape. Now another thing that is very useful is this pick colors. These pick colors help you to pick any color from any position and just paint any other thing with that color. So I can select the pick color. Now if I click on this yellow thing right here, now you can see that our current pick color will be yellow. And if I just click on this, any of this position, okay, so we need to select this thing, create our pick color, and now we can select this, and as you can see, our fill has become yellow. So I can now use this to fill anything I want. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to select an object that we want to fill. Then we need to select this dropper, this pick color, and then we can select any object to give it that color. So let's say this object has a red color and this object has a green color. So what I can do is, let's say I want to give this color to this object. So I select this object, click on this pick colors, and if I click on this red, now we'll see this will become red. If I click on blue, if I click on green, this will become green. If I click on yellow, this will become yellow. So this will pick a color and automatically change this object which is selected to that color. Okay, so these are pretty much the very basic important tools of Inkscape. I hope you will be able to use them on every project that you build, and I will recommend you to just try experimenting and building new things, and you will learn by doing that way. So hope you had fun with that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.